Welcome back to another episode of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley.
And me, Tom Lucy. This is the podcast where nothing is off limits. And it is our Valentine's Day special, Liv.
Isn't it just? You look like you're part of the red light district with that. Those hearts behind you.
Our studio's been decorated in sort of brothel-esque.
Don't say that.
I like it. I feel very at home. These are all things from my personal collection that I've brought in.
What are you going to
These
be...
new as well, the roses. Wow, guys. This is unbelievable. It looks nice, doesn't it?
It does, very...
Are you going to decorate your house
Absolutely
for Valentine's
not.
Day?
No. Do I look like the type who'd throw down petals?
No, you don't. You don't seem like that sort
But
of...
you weirdly do. What are you going to do for Olivia?
Going to cover the entire house in white roses.
That is sad.
And turn all the lights off and scare her when she gets back. I'm going to be waiting in a tuxedo with a candle.
The thing is, though, I actually wouldn't put it past you to do something sort of odd like that.
Would I?
You
I hate all
not.
that stuff.
No, really? I thought you liked all romantic gestures and stuff.
No.
What are you going to do then?
Well, I'm actually doing a show tonight, so I'm working.
Is she coming to watch?
She's not. No, she doesn't want to do that on Friday evening. So we're not actually spending it together.
Neither am I.
Neither are you.
No, Rory's on a flight.
He's on a flight. I think you and my Olivia should hang out.
We could go see Bridget Jones.
You could, yeah.
I think it's a pretty tragic day anyway, so...
Valentine's Day.
Just another day.
Are you genuinely quite anti-Valentine's Day?
I'm not anti it, I'm just not particularly pro it. Like, it's not something I sort of plan out.
No. I don't think it's very British, is it? I feel like we as a culture, we're quite anti-cringe.
It's more American.
It's a very cringe-worthy day, I think.
I think the whole thing does give me the ick.
Have you ever had a really bad Valentine's Day?
No, not really. I mean, I had a sweet one once where my boyfriend, did I tell you this? Bought me these roses that live for like a year.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was like, I think it'd be really sweet if we take a photo with it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Takes a photo, puts it straight on his Instagram and thanks the brand. And I was like, you're joking. So it was just a brand deal for him.
I like that.
But no, other than that, I don't really...
Always thinking of the money.
I tend to not celebrate it.
Have you ever had a great Valentine's Day? Or is it just a sort of normal day?
None of them have really been, no, I don't, it's not really something I celebrate. I hate anything like that. I find it really cringe.
Me too.
I've had exes who do enjoy celebrating it. So I've done the whole go to a sweet restaurant.
It must be difficult
menu.
if you're in a relationship that you know you're gonna end quite soon, but you have to go through the Valentine's Day.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just thinking if you're in a relationship and in mid-January you decide I actually don't want to do this anymore, you probably have to wait till after Valentine's Day to pull the plug on it.
No, but you've sort of got to start if you're going to end it with someone, you've got to start laying the groundwork down. You can't suddenly do something sweet for Valentine's Day and then go, by the way, you're dumped. Can you?
Well, you could.
You would do that.
I would do that.
Would you actually?
What, take them away and then dump
Yeah.
them? No. Probably not. No, I wouldn't do that.
All right, so we're having a pretty tragic Valentine's Day, that's fine.
Are you doing anything? Do you have any plans?
No. I might actually go and see Bridget Jones.
Okay. Well, maybe one of our listeners will go with you. If you're listening and you want to DM Liv, actually don't, because you'll get a load of weird blokes. Do you still hear from that man who sent you those weird messages?
No, I had to block him because you agreed to.
I replied to some of them, didn't I? Okay, so you put a story out about Valentine's Day.
I put a story up saying, does anyone actually enjoy it? 18% said yes, and the rest all said no. So it's obviously not a hugely popular day.
No, it is basically sort of an excuse for restaurants and shops to just hike all their prices up, isn't it?
That, and also influencers who
this is your world, isn't it?
Well, put up videos of 300 red roses and these ridiculous apartments covered in amazing things. And they're probably using their dad's hand. That's my favourite, is, women who just... No, as in women who get someone else's hand to look like some mysterious bloke has done all this stuff, and it's probably just a friend of theirs.
It's just their dad.
But you see it all the time. But I always see girls posting fake things of that, saying, when they've gone through a breakup and pretending they're on a romantic date or something, and it's actually just some random bloke's hand that they're using to wind up their exes.
If you were to get home after this recording and Rory had covered the house in red roses,
dumped. I know.
Would you like that or not?
No, I wouldn't. I thought you were going to say, my idea of absolute hell would be one of those bands that roll up to your house and sing to you, like a mariachi band.
Door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the worst part actually about that is I have done that. I've been in a thing and had to do that. Do you remember I did that tequila job? I had to join a mariachi band and we picked some people in Clapham and had to go and knock on their door and stand there. And there was a full mariachi band and I was standing there with a sombrero on.
What? And,
It was
and
mortifying.
They open the door and you just start singing.
Yeah, and it wasn't just them; they knew it was happening. So there was about 300 people in this house, and I was like, "This is."
That would be a fucking nightmare.
But imagine me; I'd find that whole thing cringe.
I'd look through the little peephole and not open the door to them. If I saw 8 people dressed as Mexicans, I just wouldn't open the door. Also, my neighbours already don't like me, so I feel like that would really push it over the top.
Why have you got aggy neighbours? Where are you? Oh, I forgot you moved.
I think, yeah, my neighbours, they actually, I don't think they like, I think they're quite old, and I think they think we make too much noise.
Do you have parties in there?
Sometimes, yeah. Well, last night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It was nice of you to come.
Oh, didn't get the invite.
No, that's actually a fair point.
I would like to discuss Blake Lively.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been reading up about all this?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
I'm slightly disappointed that the general public believe that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and all of these people are as nice as they pretend to be. Because I sort of think, of course they're not that nice. No one is that nice. And when someone tells you repeatedly that
How
they're
nice
like
they
a
are.
really nice guy and they're the nicest person in Hollywood, it just makes me think even more that they're probably not that person. I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably difficult if you're an actress and you're starring in a movie like that with that guy Justin Baldoni. It's probably quite difficult to have a completely professional. I don't know. I've never experienced anything like that, so I don't know how you would film something like that and keep it completely professional all the time.
You probably, and also,
And it's probably difficult for Ryan Reynolds as the husband of the, like, with your wife is.
but it's almost
doing
like
something like that.
Do you remember that Theo James advert?
Yes.
And everyone was like, "We feel so sorry for the wife because the young model that he was doing it with."
Yes.
But then it's like,
That's actually so true. There were some really intense videos of them like getting with each other on the beach.
I don't-
And everyone was like, I feel so sorry for his wife. But I guess they're actors, right? That's their job.
yeah. But then in this situation, so say like Blair's position. Oh, sorry, not Blair. Blake Lively's. If you're like taking over that role, it would be as a like husband or a partner. I would find that very hard.
Yeah. You know what's quite interesting now? Because I was listening to something the other day about this, that on movies now, if there's like sex scenes in movies, they have intimacy
Coaches,
choreographers.
Intimacy coaches.
Who are like there the whole time and they tell you exactly what to do. And so they try and make it as like comfortable as possible. But that didn't used to happen. It used to be like, I think past like 10 years ago or something, if there was a sex scene in a film, they would just say like, go for it. And then
Really?
yeah, and then like if you're the woman in that, it's kind of intimidating, right?
I would imagine. I'd love to sort of be a fly on the wall in this situation just to see how it's actually done, because we see just the glamorous side, but actually,
Well, film sets in general are not as glamorous as people
No,
think
I know.
they are. And pretending to have sex with someone in front of a crew of like 50 people would probably not be as
I
fun
would
as-
laugh. I would find it so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it would probably not be as fun as everyone thinks it would be.
No.
Would you be able to date an actor who had like, if you were dating Theo James and he did that advert, would you be okay with that?
I don't know. I don't think I would.
No.
No. But it's a bit like, like the Strictly Curse thing. I don't know. Well, it's a hard one, isn't it? I suppose it depends what sort of person you are. But no, I think I would find it incredibly hard to watch like Rory doing sex scenes with someone. It wouldn't be easy.
Wow.
And especially when you're
Hold
spending...
that thought, because we've got a video to show you. Special Valentine's Day video.
But no, I would find it incredibly hard.
That
Especially if
surprises
you're...
me, though, because
But if you're spending that much one-on-one time with someone, like Blake and... what? Oh no, yeah, it's Blake.
Blake and
Justin. I don't know how... It would be hard to...
I think it's also difficult because like he was the director as well.
But like,
so
where
she's,
do you
like,
draw
she's
the
sort of-
line? At like when you're... Because if they're obviously wanting to make the roles amazing and he was directing it as well, so he was giving her like... They obviously need the chemistry. But to get to that point... Like,
It is a good film, to be fair.
it's a
They
really
do
good
have
film.
chemistry.
But isn't it? There's another one coming out, isn't there? It's like a.
Oh, is there?
I think there
don't
is
know.
another book, isn't there?
Presumably not with those two, though.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing as well. That like I would find that annoying because when you like are invested in cast and then
You
they
know what's quite
change.
funny is like a friend of mine who's an actor was telling me that quite often if you don't get on very well with someone off screen, your chemistry on screen is better.
But this
Whereas
was-
if you get on really well as friends, quite often the chemistry on screen is a bit flat.
But that's like the Notebook.
That's like us.
That's like us. But The Notebook.
Yeah.
with Rachel McAdams and
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling,
Yeah.
they hated each other to begin with, and then actually they ended up dating after the show. But there's loads of like films like Dirty Dancing, isn't that one as well? Patrick Swayze and Jennifer. Yeah, they didn't get on at all.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because if you didn't get on, I would find it hard as well. If I didn't get on with someone to then have like romantic scenes with them.
But maybe that creates like a bit of like tension that
Sexual
comes
tension.
through on camera really well. Like Hugh Grant has talked loads about how loads of his leading ladies in his films he's not got on with at all, and they've like hated each other through the whole filming. And when you watch it, it's like, oh, they have great chemistry. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd never know.
No, I would have thought that you would have been okay dating someone like an actor, because I would have thought that, like, coming through Made in Chelsea in that world, you're quite used to your partner being a sort of screen presence.
Yeah, but no, weirdly. But that's why I like Rory.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have Instagram.
He's completely off the grid.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would. I'm quite a jealous person. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you?
I don't think so. I don't think
I think you have to be a pretty strong person to do that.
I think so. Okay, Liv, let's do our unpopular opinions.
Oh yeah, Valentine's Day.
This week is obviously Valentine's Day themed. Okay, so I put a story out on my Instagram asking for unpopular opinions about Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
This one I thought you would find quite interesting.
I always find it judgmental when you say that, by the way.
Why?
No, as in because you know.
When I say you're like
yeah.
this.
I noticed something this week. I said to a friend, "Can you recommend a TV show to watch?" Because we've run out of ones. Anyway, she goes, "Oh, you'd love this." Recommended something that was absolutely shite, and I thought, you don't know me. And actually, I started to judge her from that.
Yeah.
And then she says, "There's another film you should watch as well," which I've seen in the cinema. It was awful. I'm now going to judge people
just
on
think
their.
you have poor taste,
yeah.
I think.
Or when they send you music that they think you'll like, and I'm like, this is so far from anything I would ever listen to.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's go.
Okay, here's one that you will love.
Yeah.
Homemade cards are better than store-bought cards.
Okay, right. On that, I have been part.
I knew you'd like this.
I
See?
have made a homemade card in my time. When I was younger.
When you were 4.
Well, actually, I did something pretty tragic on Valentine's Day once, and I'll never go back to this. I actually made heart-shaped brownies. This is shocking.
Wow.
This is so on me.
I thought you were fucking against
I
it.
am.
Now
I
you're
am.
like,
I'd obviously done something stupid in the relationship, so I was sort of looking for forgiveness, I suppose, with my
Right.
heart-shaped hash brownies. They weren't. No, they weren't hash brownies. But no, that was as low as I've got.
you said, yes, I did have sex with your brother, but here's a heart-shaped brownie.
Fuck. But no, I mean that's sort of sweet.
Who did you make heart-shaped brownies for?
We're not going to say that, are we?
Did it go down well?
Fucking loved it.
When did you make a homemade card? Was that with the brownies?
No, it wasn't with the brownies.
Well, how would you feel if Rory got you a card that he'd made himself?
No, what that he'd actually made. I think writing a card's sweet. Making one is slightly different.
No, not writing in it, making the card.
No, I don't. Well,
No.
I would say you've obviously got time on your hands.
It would scream, I forgot to get a card, wouldn't it? I have to constantly remind my dad to buy cards for my mum.
I think
My dad would never get a card or a present for any occasion ever unless we reminded him to.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite sad, really. But then I don't think, my mum doesn't really give a shit, I don't know. But we have to text him and be like, remember it's mum's birthday next week.
I don't think he's alone in that though. I think a lot of men are probably like that. My dad does
Isn't
remember
that quite
that.
depressing though?
Yeah, but I think maybe you get to an age where it's just not.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad always gets my mum orange tulips because they're her
Really?
favourite flowers. Yeah, he's actually quite sweet like that.
That's quite
But
sweet. I've never seen an orange tulip.
you obviously don't get out much. How have you not? What are you
Never
talking
seen
about?
an orange tulip.
Wait. So what
probably
what
have.
other unpopular opinions?
So you don't like the homemade
No,
cards?
but I like cards. Cards generally are nice to write.
Yeah, I like a card.
Actually, you know what I have done for Rory is actually no, I can't. It's so tragic. I
on,
got some
say.
in my bedroom above our bed. I have a photo up there, which is irrelevant. So anyway,
Is this appropriate for the
it
podcast?
is appropriate. Actually, the photo's quite inappropriate. I got photos of him and I printed that I'm going to put above the bed and replace it,
Oh, that's sweet.
which is quite sweet.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
What, so you're going to have a big photo of you and Rory
not
above the
big,
bed?
just 3 of us. Yeah.
That's nice. I went to my friend's house the other day and above his bed he's got a massive painting of a lion above his bed, which I thought was quite odd and quite sort of... I think, imagine if you're a girl going back to that house, that would be quite an intimidating thing to have above the bed.
Yeah, it's a bit niche.
A big photo of a lion. Although I also know quite a few people who have massive photos of themselves around their house. Not with other people, just of themselves.
I can't. Yeah, I've got a painting of myself in my house.
You are one of the people I was
I'm
thinking
not.
about.
Well, no, I'm not. But I don't. Is that? I don't think that's that wrong. Photo. Well, I don't know.
I think the problem is that we are in an industry, in a world where there's people have quite large egos. Maybe, is that fair to say? So sometimes people's houses are sort of, they look like shrines. Actually, they're like memorabilia shrines
to themselves. I don't know. Actually, that is weird.
I know someone who went for a meeting at Simon Cowell's house, and they said his house is just photos of himself everywhere, not with other people, just of himself.
Yeah, it sounds like my fucking Instagram. Yeah. That's what one of my unpopular opinions was. Because reality stars, influencers are just quite like vapid, and all their photos are just selfies and bikini shots.
So are you going to surprise Rory with the photo of the bed? Or does he know about it?
Photo of the bed. No, he doesn't know about it.
Wow, that is exciting.
No, I actually don't post. I barely post Rory. I think I've posted 2 photos of him. I'm not sure I agree with all the shoving it in. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just a bit.
What about men who get sort of pressurized to post about their girlfriend by their girlfriend?
That's an odd one though. But why do guys not? Because guys, I don't think tend to post maybe generally as much, but they don't. Girls are a lot more forthcoming and wanting to post about their boyfriends, but guys just don't. Does Olivia ask you to ever post photos of you two? She has done it in the past. But why? Just to ensure that your followers know you're in a relationship?
Yeah, I think probably it is that, isn't it?
I think it is more of a territorial thing. Yeah.
But girls do just post more anyway of anything.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I do quite often see like friends of mine posting pictures of their girlfriends, and I think you've probably been told
made to do that.
I don't think you would have like thought, I'll do that. But it's just weird, isn't it? It's just a territorial thing. It's like the girls wanting all of his followers to know that he's got a girlfriend. That must be what it is.
Yeah.
Why else would you do that?
But I would say, in my opinion, guys are probably more inappropriate on Instagram than girls are. In terms of guys liking photos.
Yeah.
Whereas girls, I don't think do that as much. If you're in a relationship, if I had a boyfriend who had Instagram and was liking a load of bikini photos of other girls, I wouldn't like that.
Of course, yeah.
But guys do that more than girls liking topless photos of guys.
Yeah, I think men use Instagram more as a sort of
breeding, like a
dating thing, don't they? Micro cheating is basically is doing things that are inappropriate but not full cheating, right?
Yeah, so I mean, the term cheating I think has changed a lot. Because of social media. There are things now that would be classed as inappropriate. It's a bit like with these text messages between Blake and Justin.
Yeah.
People are saying that she was flirty and he wasn't. But then how do you determine what actually is flirty or not? It's the way the other person perceives it.
Yeah. I know. But you're right though. It's a big thing of like men liking girls' Instagram stories as a sort of, that's like a real statement of intent, isn't it?
A story's actually worse because the person gets notified in their inbox that they've liked it. But then do guys think it through when they're like, if you saw a photo of a friend of yours who's a girl and she looked like hot in it, or she was wearing probably limited clothing, would you like that photo?
It really depends how close a friend she was. If it was like a proper friend who Olivia knows there's not anything. But probably not. No, I don't like a lot of people's things generally. But that I can see that would cause an argument. Yeah,
interesting.
You must have been in relationships where that's happened.
Oh, what?
You've got into issues over Instagram.
Yeah. Oh yeah, back in my stalkering days, found a photo that someone liked from 3 years ago, and I was like, right, you're dumped. Majority of people tend to have 2 Instagram accounts.
Do they? I don't have 2.
I'm not even logged in on the Jomo one because I find it too stressful.
Do you think there's a chance that Rory has a fake Instagram account?
No, I did wonder though. I don't think he does.
Yeah, he's actually just checking off on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Does he? Because he doesn't have Instagram, he must have no idea what you're posting.
Well, no, he said the other day I'm going to get Instagram just to see. But no, I mean I share my Instagram. I don't post weird crap on there. You don't. No, I don't know. Social media is a lot.
What would be another example of micro cheating that you think is legitimate? What are the let me look it up.
I just think the bigger part of cheating is more like the emotional side of it than the actual physical. And now because of social media, it's a much bigger thing.
Meeting with someone without your partner knowing?
Obvious. Well, yeah. If it's meeting with someone without
Depends what it is though, doesn't it? If you're meeting like a woman, then that No, but it could be like if I had a meeting.
You're making excuses. You absolutely cannot meet with someone that your current boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't.
In a romantic sense, of course, but you could meet a friend. And
that's obviously not what they're implying, is it?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so that's definitely a bad one. Always commenting on and liking someone's pictures. Yeah.
Is it weird that I actually think it's a bit cringe for blokes to constantly comment and like people's photos? Like, you know, when you see the same person commenting under everyone's stuff, you're like...
Yeah. People who comment, I don't think I've ever commented on anything. Maintaining contact with your exes, I guess.
Yeah, that's inappropriate.
Secretly messaging someone.
Inappropriate. These are basically all sort of cheating.
These are just cheating.
These are just cheating.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day because he said he noticed his girlfriend had got on her WhatsApp. You know, you can archive messages.
Oh, yeah.
He noticed that there was like a notification in the archived bit, and he was like, "What's that? Why is there a message that's been archived that I can see?" And he was like, he was asking me whether he needed to raise that as an issue or not, and I was like, I don't know. It could really backfire.
This is the thing.
You'd be really intense.
Have you ever looked on Olivia's phone?
No.
Have you ever wanted to?
No.
Or been in a relationship where you have gone in through someone's phone?
I've been in a relationship where I've wanted to before, but I've never done it.
I don't think it's right. I mean, I don't look through Rory's phone, obviously, and he doesn't look through mine. Like, we just are not in that kind of relationship. But I've got friends who will search through each other's phones. But I was...
What, in front of each other?
Yeah.
What, they say, give me your phone, I want to look through it?
Yeah.
That was in the Molly May documentary where she said she thought something was wrong where she said to Tommy, can I look at those photos you took of me earlier? But he wouldn't give her his phone.
Yeah, but that's because he was about to propose and he didn't want her to see that.
But that you can see why that would like ring alarm bells if your partner was like, I'm not going to give you my phone.
Yeah, but then also the problem is if you then get on the phone, you'll ultimately find something that will look shady because of what you're looking for. Do you know what I mean?
Do you have lots of friends who look through their boyfriend's phones without them knowing or with them knowing?
Both.
Really?
Yeah. I just think once you open that like can of worms, it's very hard to come back from because then you'll constantly be like waiting for them to go to sleep.
I think if you look for a problem, you'll find a problem.
Actually, I did do it once with an ex.
Oh, yeah?
And I found what I didn't want to.
Wow.
We were on holiday at the time as well, so it was fucking awkward. So then I didn't want to say, I've looked through your phone. So I just left it.
I suppose if you find something, then at least you then know, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. Rather than not knowing and just carrying on. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's so difficult, isn't it? There's so many like ways it can go wrong. It amazes me that anyone stays in a relationship nowadays for more than like a year.
But I don't think they do. I think this is the problem, is that there's so much option out there, and with things like Instagram, guys are constantly being not guys, but everyone's being subjected to so much stuff. Like, go on your Instagram, there's probably half load of girls in bikinis, the same for girls, like, you know, and it's so easy to contact people.
You know, there's a whole theory that younger people are not having anywhere near as much sex now as we were like 30 years ago.
That's why they say there's a load of like things with people not actually getting pregnant. It's because people generally don't. Yeah. They just don't. But also monogamy is not a very common thing that anymore, really, is it?
Do you think the monogamy thing is like a London issue or a city issue? Do you think it happens across the whole UK?
Well, no, I didn't know. I think it's everywhere. But I think, because it's like Americans always say they're dating, but they're dating 3 people in one go. If I've dated one person, I've never had 3 on the go at once.
No.
I don't think I could do that. I mean, I know it's obviously people do it to see.
What would you do on Valentine's Day if you had 3 people on the go?
Well, breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Heart-shaped jewellery is ugly.
I once, and I seriously judged this person for it, I once got a heart-shaped necklace. I've never worn it, and I was like, it was sweet, but it was yeah. I don't, how do I say it without sounding? Don't say his name, but anyway, I got given a heart-shaped necklace once, and it was the sort of gift one would give if you were 16.
Yeah.
Not nearly 30.
Yeah.
But no, I thought I was borderline offended at that.
Really?
But this is the thing. I think Valentine's Day is sweet if you're like a teenager. Like young love, there's something sweet about it, buying each other's cards and flowers and stuff.
But it's mainly for teenagers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So heart-shaped jewellery, complete no?
I think so.
Even if it's like diamond encrusted.
We'll see.
Tiffany thing.
That's literally what it was.
So that's what it was. You still hated it. It's good advice for any men listening though. Valentine's
Day should be renamed the day you are reminded how single you are. But it's
quite a negative, that one.
Did you, when you're single on Valentine's Day, does it make you feel single?
I don't think I would give a fuck, really.
I don't give a fuck. I think I feel like I'm on a downer about social media, but it is a social media thing. That's why everyone's suddenly...
Yeah.
If you didn't have Instagram, you probably wouldn't notice what day. You wouldn't notice it was Valentine's Day.
No.
I've done campaigns for Galentine's Day. That's a big thing.
You love all that.
I don't love all that.
You're the face of Galentine's, aren't you?
Shut up.
This is another... I've got a lot of sad replies to mine. Valentine's Day was my dog's birthday. He would have been 14. Okay. Let's try and keep the energy up, shall we? You know what happened? This is kind of off topic, but the other night at 4 a.m., our doorbell rang at 4 o'clock in the morning, which was like completely terrifying. If your doorbell rang at 4 o'clock in the morning, would you be scared?
Not really. I'd probably think it was some drunken bum ringing the doorbell.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you not think that like, if somebody
did
was
you go down there?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I actually looked out the window, and it was it was these two random blokes standing outside my house trying to ring the.
Did you go down and open it?
No, I didn't fucking open it. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, just leave it.
I had it once, and my doorbell was going and going and going, and I was like, who the fuck is that? I thought it was like one of my sisters pranking me, and it wasn't. It was just my neighbour who got locked out.
Oh.
So I let him in to sleep on the sofa.
Did you?
Yeah. And he was standing there with a traffic cone, which I thought was odd. But yeah, that's it. That is very random. But no, anonymous things like that and letters from people.
You must have had some anonymous Valentine's.
Yeah, they were normally
cards.
from my grandpa, which was quite sweet.
Do you get like fans of Made in Chelsea writing you fan mail?
No. I mean, I've had emails.
Have you?
Yeah, but people don't really write fan mail.
I bet you've got some weird emails.
No, well, I had weird DMs, like that one with the bloke
Yeah,
asking for
yeah.
photos of my ear piercings.
Yeah. That's funny, isn't it? We're going to come back in part 2, and we've got some listener dilemmas to discuss about Valentine's Day.
Welcome back to part 2 of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley.
And me, Tom Lucy, our Valentine's Day special.
We have some stories and dilemmas for you. Okay, this
From
one.
our listeners. What do you think the proportion of single listeners is that we have? Do you think most people are in relationships or single?
I don't know, because we get a lot of dilemmas about people's relationships. Okay, here's a story. I went out with the lads last year as we were all single. It was a good night until I came home and found my parents having sex on the kitchen table. Scarred for life.
Wow.
That actually would terrify me.
Wow.
Have you ever walked in on a family member having sex?
No, I haven't actually. I've never even had like a hint of my parents having sex. So they're either not having sex or they're like doing it with their mouths taped up or something. Because I genuinely haven't heard a fucking peep.
I don't think you could unhear that, could you?
No, but you know, most people have like a story about hearing something. I've literally never heard anything. So I don't know what the deal is with them.
Yeah, I've never...
Your parents sound like they're at it like rabbits.
I walked in once, we were skiing, but I think they were taking the piss. Although my mother then turned out to be pregnant later on, so I was like, maybe she is. I walked in there, and my dad was in his boxers, and my dad jokes about this kind of thing. Like when I gave him the lube, I said, this is what we're doing. And he came back to me and goes, well, I poured it all over your mother and nothing happened. I was like, sorry? But no, they always joke about it. No, I once woke up in the night to a sort of grunting noise. And I thought my sister was having a really bad dream. And I was like, oh my God, should I go in there? Anyway, I realised her boyfriend was in there, and I assume that that's what they were doing. But it was odd sort of noises.
Yeah.
And after that, I just,
I don't think I'd be able to cope with I mean, coming back and seeing them on the kitchen table is like, I might have to, I don't know, sort of become distant from the family after that.
It's a lot.
An estranged son. On the kitchen table, though, that's...
punchy.
It's nice to hear that they're still so romantic after so many years, though. That's good,
That's
isn't
true.
it?
It should be positive.
It should be positive. What is the stat about married couples having sex? What do you think it is? How often do you think most married couples have sex?
We did this once. It's not as often as you think.
No. What would it be? What would your guess be?
I reckon... How many years have they been together?
Say a couple that have been married for 10 years. What would your guess be? Can we find out?
Yeah.
Once a week.
Once a week.
My guess would have been once a week. Yeah. But what would you
I suppose that's actually not that bad.
For 10 years in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think...
It's all right.
Okay, right. I always wonder... No, because how do you keep it alive? Like, how do you... I always get messages from girls saying like, oh, we had one last week saying, oh, the sort of everything's amazing, but the sex has dried up. Like, how do you keep it alive?
Yeah.
Who do you think it's on, or what role do you think each person should play to keep it alive?
On both of you, isn't it? To make an effort.
I think the guy should keep the like romance up, and the girl keep the. Is that a bit stereotypical to say that though? Like the girls should keep the sort of sexual side alive. Like if it's like the odd, I don't know how to say this without sounding like low rent.
No, I know what you mean.
To keep like
it's
the
also like
cheekiness.
just like making an effort to look, because I think when you've been in a relationship for a few years, you can quite easily just like stop caring about your appearance. And
I mean, even though
people like put weight on and they stop like making an effort when they go out together. It's just like keeping that side of the relationship going.
And actually remembering to date each other.
Yeah.
I think people
like
forget that.
Trying to make your partner fancy you is probably quite important.
I went through a phase with Rory where I found myself wearing fucking leggings every day. And I was like this, and it actually made me feel shit. Like yeah. So now I've got it in my head, that's my New Year's resolution, don't bum around in leggings every day.
I think it's good advice though. Like you want your partner to fancy you. Like you should be making an effort to make...
keeping it alive.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think is that like a really old-fashioned thing to say? I don't know. Is it one of those things though where like the less sex you have, the less you want it?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
It must be like as you get older into your like 70s, 80s, your sex drive must drop. It must do.
No, I don't know. Depends really, doesn't it?
Do you think those retirement homes, they're all like shagging each other? Is it like Love Island?
What the fuck?
Do you think they are? I sort of hope they are in a way.
They've probably not got much else to do. That and a bit of bingo.
Is that what? So would that be your advice to girls who say the sex is drying up?
I think you just have to. It's one of those things that you have to actually make a conscious effort with. It's not something that just naturally will keep happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. It's like, you know, when you first start dating someone, you love the whole like chase and the flirtiness. I think trying to maintain that, whether it is something like a cheeky text or whatever it is.
What's a good way of doing that? Is it like, I sometimes think that it's quite It's healthy to have like a certain amount of distance from each other.
Yeah,
like
because
not being with each other all the time, it can actually be quite a positive thing.
What is it? Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah, like if you both work from home, and you're with each other all day, that's probably not a great thing for the relationship.
I would imagine a lot of relationships probably suffered with that.
It's quite good to like go to work, come home,
and talk
about what you've done that day. You know?
No, definitely. Because I found that hard in my last relationship, was we were both at home the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think that's a great thing.
No.
It's like with Russell Kane, we talked about how like, because he's a comedian, he goes quite often, has to stay in hotels, and he thinks that's quite good for their relationship, that they're not together every night.
I think it is a healthy thing.
I mean, you and Rory live together now, so I guess you are together all the time.
No, but he works every day.
But then I don't know if that's true, because my parents like have never spent a night apart, and they've been married for like 30 years. So I don't know. Maybe that's not a thing.
Yeah, well, as in...
I have heard, and I don't have children, so I don't know, but I have heard that when you have children, the relationship dynamic changes because you become like colleagues. You're like sort of like you like work together looking after this thing. Well, like you sort of suddenly have there's like a job element to it, to the relationship.
Yeah, and I suppose you're prioritizing your kids rather than your relationship.
Yeah, and you know that your partner loves the child more than they love you.
I think, is that a male? Is that a male insecurity thing though? Because you see, like I've seen it in films where, I'm trying to think of one as an example, where guys almost don't want to hold off having kids because they'll lose their wife to the child.
Yeah, I think that is a fear of men. I think it is. Also, I've heard that like the wife can like start to hate the husband for a bit after they have a baby. It's like quite common that they develop this like irrational dislike of their partner.
This is sounding negative about having children.
I'm not putting anyone off having children, but it's just, I think men do think about that.
Yeah, interesting.
Let's do another dilemma. I'll read the next one. As a treat, I dressed up as a sexy policewoman for my boyfriend. I think it's police officer now.
Oh wait, is that it?
No. As a treat, I dressed up as a sexy policewoman for my boyfriend, complete with handcuffs and a plastic gun. I tied my boyfriend up on the bed, then jokingly shot him, thinking the gun would make a sound. No, it actually contained real plastic pellets. They don't hurt that much unless they hit your bare tackle. I'll never forget his howl in pain and the lack of sex afterwards. That is funny. That
is quite funny. But that's kind of always the way when you try and do something slightly like sexy, it goes wrong. And then it's just fucking awkward.
I think because you have quite a low cringe threshold, you would find that sort of dressing up quite difficult. Or like role playing, would you find that quite difficult?
If I got home and Rory was standing there dressed as a fireman, I would die on the inside. It's not really...
It's not even the dressing up is not the bit I find cringe. It's the like acting, it's the talking to each other that people do.
No, it's creepy. I think there's something...
I know a couple that you also know that do this thing where they go out for dinner together and they pretend it's their first date. So they pretend that they're meeting for the first time and they like act out that they don't know each other and they're meeting for the first time.
But how often can you keep
I don't
repeating
know, but
that?
they do that fairly regularly.
My parents were telling me they went to a dinner once and both pretended to have completely bizarre careers. Not bizarre, but just like totally different to what they are. Like I think my mum pretended she's an
Just
air
with each
hostess.
other?
No, at a dinner party.
Oh, that
just to
makes
lie
more-
to other
that
people.
makes more sense than
That's
just
funny.
with the two of you.
But constantly going on the same date with your boyfriend pretending
Yeah.
you don't know each other is a little
It's
odd.
weird. Yeah.
No, there's something a bit about role play that is a bit. I mean, dressing up in like lingerie is one thing, but then slipping into a full latex suit
Yeah.
is another.
I think it's more just getting too into the character that would slightly put me off.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who once said he did. He's older and he's married, and him and his wife wanted to do role play, and she wanted to do like teacher and student role play. So he had to be the teacher and she was the student. And he said the whole thing was just a fucking nightmare because he took it way too seriously. He got into his character way too much, and then they ended up having a big row about something.
See, that just is too
and then
much.
she like stormed out the room.
We should almost do it as pranks to Olivia and Rory.
Don't you have like one of those beds that lifts up and you've got loads of costumes under there?
No, I don't have costumes under there. I have like my wigs from when I had hair loss under there.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
No. I was going to say I watched a podcast the other day and it was like one of the top, what would you call like a S&M, like a mistress kind of person. Anyway, she was saying how one of her clients was about to come over and it was the naughty student one. Anyway, this bloke appeared at the door and she starts saying to him like, get upstairs, naughty boy or something, whatever.
Yeah.
And the guy looked completely stunned. Anyway, she's like shouting at him, going, I'll bend you over my knee. Anyway, it turns out he was actually there to fix her Wi-Fi and he had a land around his neck. It wasn't actually the client.
That's
and this
funny.
poor bloke was stunned. But no, that's a bit much, all
great.
that.
I'd like to hear from people if they've got any sort of bad stories about dressing up and doing role play, because that is funny. Should we do another one?
Yeah.
I went on a first date with a guy that I met online on Valentine's Day. A first date on Valentine's
That's
Day
punchy.
is intense. And he kept talking about how cheesy it is and that if anyone asks us how we met in the future, it will be a really funny story to tell. He then took a phone call for 10 minutes outside and then another call. And then by the third call, the bar staff had noticed it and come over, told me I'm too good for him and helped me sneak out the back door.
Oh God,
I blocked his number and unmatched him. Why? Because he took a couple of phone calls.
I would think that's rude. If you're on a first date or if you're at like dinner generally, I mean,
And someone's taking
and
calls.
someone keeps getting up to go and make phone calls, you'd find that slightly
that
rude.
would be, one would be okay, but multiple would be annoying.
Yeah. I would just say, sorry, I'm busy, I'll call you back.
Yeah. I like those people that constantly wear AirPods. You know, they never take them out.
I don't
It's like a fashion thing to wear AirPods, and then you don't know whether they're talking to you or they've jumped onto a phone call.
or just talking to themselves.
Would you find that difficult if somebody was constantly on the phone during
Yeah,
your day?
I would. I don't, I've tried not to, I used to sit, or if ever I got a message, I'd have to check it instantly, but now I'm like better at not doing that. I do think it's rude.
You know what I used to get anxious about when I was single and I'd go on dates is if you're the first to arrive at wherever you've agreed to meet, I find that more awkward than being the second to arrive. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're meeting in a pub, say, it's easier to arrive and that person already be there than you have to like stand at the bar and wait for your date to arrive. Because everyone around you is probably thinking they're waiting for a date to arrive.
I think the worst part about a first date is everyone else watching you knowing it's a first date.
Exactly.
That's the worst part
about it. And you have to like
it.
loudly say, "Oh hi, nice to meet you," and everyone knows what's going on in the pub.
So,
That
That
bit
is
I
the
find
worst.
difficult. Also, it's quite tense to sort of like if you're sat at a table, you sort of think, okay, they're going to come in a minute. How do I want them to see me for the first time? Because being on your phone's
you've
not
really
great.
thought this through.
Well, I just think like if they walk in and you're like scrolling on your phone, that's not a great first impression. But then sitting there doing nothing is also quite scary. Just staring forward.
I realise
reading a book is really cringe, but I can imagine some blokes do that. They're like, "Oh, sorry, you just interrupted me reading a book."
I realised how much you rely on your phones because I showed up to, I think I had a meeting or something and I was sitting there and I ended up just sitting there staring into space, trying not to be on my phone. But that feels fucking awkward.
It's also, it's probably more scary for the person to arrive and you're just sat looking into space.
Basically, good luck to anyone going on a first date.
She's like brain dead.
Well, thank God we don't have to think about that anymore.
It's an anxiety. I think there'll be people listening thinking that is true.
The anxiety I get before meeting people, and this is not necessarily on dates, is like, say like someone's parents, is hugging them, shaking hands, or kissing on either cheek. That's what I actually think through.
Yeah, well, that's like when two men meet, it's quite easy because you just handshake.
Yeah, but
It's
with
quite easy to
women,
know
it's
what to do.
different. And with
When a
women and men.
Man meeting a woman is difficult because handshake feels awkward.
I've gone in for the hug.
Hug can feel like if they don't want a hug, that feels awkward.
I did that in a meeting once when I first met. It was like a producer of a show, and I just went in straight for the hug. And I was like, I was like, oh god, that was weird.
I think if it's a business meeting, a handshake is a safe bet. If you're meeting in like a social environment, I think a hug is fine. But if you're meeting for like work, I think a handshake.
And then when do you do the kissing on the cheek?
But then I say that some men like go for a hug, they don't want a handshake, or they do that thing where they like smack hands and then like all of this shit.
It's
so
fucking
hard to know what
complicated.
to
There's
do.
just one rule.
Fist bumping each other. You know what I miss is during COVID when we
Is
weren't
that-
allowed to touch each other.
It's a lot easier.
Elbow tapping is like we all know where we stand. We can't touch each other. It's easier.
It was.
But at distance.
I think it's nice for a guy to message first.
Yeah.
I think. But because I think girls get very worried of looking too keen. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm generalizing this. I personally would want the guy to message me first saying it was really nice to meet
But do
you
you
or
not
something.
think if you went on a date and it went really well and on your way home the guy texted you, that would be fine?
Yeah.
Because I think guys have this weird notion of like, oh no, I've got to wait.
It's so interesting. I honestly believe
like,
guys and girls think the exact same thing about those situations.
But
They
the
just
reality
don't.
is like, if she likes you, she won't mind. If
Yeah.
she doesn't like you, then that's the only thing that really matters, right?
But because girls' view, my view on it would be if he wants to see you again, he'll message you.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Read some other. I want to hear some more of these.
Okay, you do one.
Being a typical young lad, my good friend looked forward to going out on the pull on Valentine's Day as he thought it would be a sure thing. Early in the night, he hit success with a girl in one of the bars we were in, and she came to the nightclub Oceana with him and the rest of our group. We went straight to the cheesy room. The fuck is the cheesy room? The cheesy room on the top floor. Is that what is the cheesy room? As in like a Valentine?
Like a music.
Oh, is that
room
they
where
call it the cheesy room? I wouldn't call that a cheesy room. Oh, that's what it sounds like. Cheesy room on the top floor, but later on in the night, he bumped into the girl he'd always fancied, who was with her friends on the first floor of the club. He spent the rest of the night switching between the two girls, meaning we had to keep making excuses for where he was to the first girl. He got away with it and annoyingly even took one of them home with him. Poor girls. Punchy,
Wow.
but I mean, it's Valentine's Day and you're single.
Yeah, and also, I don't know. I think there's the rules in somewhere like
Oceana.
Oceana are pretty loose, aren't they? I think that's okay.
I think that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you not remember the days of like Capital VIP? Did you ever do that when you were younger?
I did do that.
And you had to kiss the amount of people how old you were. I mean, I got to 2 and I thought it was enough. But I swear that was a thing. Or maybe that was just my lot who did
Imagine
that.
trying to organise something like that now. The amount of abuse you'd get.
Does it still exist? Capital VIP
VIP.
and feathers?
I don't think it
I
does
think it
exist.
was the one place where it was the first place you'd ever kiss someone, really. I remember going in like neon leg warmers.
You know what I do miss though is like how exciting that it was, like going to those parties. Like there's nothing that I've been to since then that's been as exciting as those first.
But we didn't drink at those, did we? Did one drink at them?
Did you not? I think we had like
Maybe you did. I can't
watered down beer, diluted
Delicious.
things. Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. There isn't
So
that sort
exciting.
of.
Yeah,
Real of-
can we get that back? Can we get that excitement back?
I always wonder that with booze. I was talking about this with a friend the other day, saying how the nights out I used to have when I was younger was so much fun. I'd wait like I think over the years your drunk is different. Like, you
Yeah.
know when you're younger and you're tipsy, you're like overexcited.
Starts to get a bit darker
Yeah,
when
now
you're
it's like everyone sits around telling dark stories and you're like, hang on, when did this happen?
Yeah, the fun sort of leaves the room,
It
doesn't it, at
does.
some point?
And I just go from sober to sloppy. There's no like excitement period.
Maybe if you had like a big break from alcohol for like a few years and then you came back to it, it would feel as exciting as it did when you were younger.
No, I don't know. I think there's a little of that like young
Because
naive.
you probably would forget what being drunk feels like.
Maybe. If I went out to raffles and said I hooked up with 7 people last night, people would fall off their fucking chairs. Like you just couldn't do that.
No.
But I also couldn't do that. I think when you're younger, it's slightly different. It doesn't really matter.
No.
But now, if you like, imagine honestly going to a club, being like just hooking up with everyone left, right, and centre, people would be shocked.
You'd look like you were like about to go to prison or something,
some
wouldn't
sort of
you?
predator.
You're going mental.
But do people actually do that anymore? As in, not anymore, but as in like, I'm trying to think if I've got any friends who.
I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I don't really go to those places anymore. but I don't know. I was never a big like club person anyway.
I loved it.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I used to promote Funky Butter. That's when I was doing my A-levels.
Didn't you used to like cycle to raffles with a little mini skirt on?
I did, in my stilettos.
Wow.
Yep.
Cycling in stilettos would be the name
Because
of
me
your
and my friend,
autobiography.
me and my friend were quite broke, so we used to just lime Barclay bike it.
That's great.
Really high-end stuff, that.
Get with 12 guys and then cycle
I
home.
definitely didn't get with 12 guys, but yeah.
Take your stilettos in the basket.
Traffic light parties. It's the
Yeah.
oh no, it's the lipstick party, and that's actually it happens somewhere.
The traffic light thing is you wear red if you're in a relationship, green if you're single, and orange if what does orange mean?
You're in between.
If you're like in an open
You're
relationship.
seeing someone.
Yeah. If you're there to cheat.
That's savage. But no, there was the lipstick parties where you wear a certain lipstick and then see how many people you could kiss. I never went to that.
What do you think about, there's that Thursday evening thing? It's
Thursday dating?
Yeah.
I actually think it was quite a good concept. It was all about meeting in real life rather than dating apps.
Yeah, but it would be like they take over a bar and it would be full of single people.
But listen,
It's quite a good idea, isn't
I
it?
think it is. I think you met Olivia on a dating app, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think it's hard now to meet people. Like before Rory, I didn't date.
Yeah.
And I met yeah. So I don't know. I think
There was a thing about this the other day about in 20 years ago or something. Over half of couples met at work. That was how most couples met, was in the office. But that doesn't really happen.
well, because people don't really go to offices anymore.
But
do they?
also, I think men are scared to like ask out girls from the office because they think they're gonna think it's gonna like
HR.
cross a line. So that sort of like office romance is way less common now than it used to be. But that is how most people used to meet each
Yeah,
other,
it's
was
true,
at
I
work.
suppose.
But I think if you were a man now and you were like, I want to ask out this girl I work with, you'd probably be a bit nervous about her reporting you for being inappropriate. I suppose it depends how you ask them out.
With an anonymous letter, meet
Yeah.
me downstairs.
If you run at them naked, then that is scary. They say you can judge a man by his shoes, his car, and his wife. That's an old saying.
His wife.
That's how you judge a man.
Okay.
What are the things you notice about a man when you meet
I'll
them?
be honest. Shoes is one of them. Shoes. I would ask if they've got siblings. I don't know why, but it makes a difference. Not makes a difference, but yeah, I'd ask if they've got siblings. And oh god,
That would be your speed date question.
yeah.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah. This is going to sound really
What if they
ridiculous.
said no?
Well, I have dated only children in the past, and because I've got so many siblings, I remember I had a fight with someone about it. One of my boyfriends, I kept my phone on loud through the night because I think my brother was clubbing or something, and I was nervous if something happened that he would ring me.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend I had at the time couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
Like he just thought he couldn't understand the concept, and I was like, well, if you've got siblings, you kind of
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Does that make sense?
Only children do have like a different mentality, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's an odd niche one.
So you would ask a speed date, do you have any siblings?
Siblings, show me your shoes, and I don't know what the third one would be.
What is it about the shoes that is such a big deal?
Okay, I don't know. I really, I think, I don't know what it is.
Is it like an indicator of how they live the rest of their life?
No, it's just a thing. I'm looking around at everyone's shoes. I don't know why it is, but it's a very common thing for girls for some reason to get put off by blokes' shoes.
What are the worst kind of shoes a man can wear?
Tan loafers.
I was gonna guess that.
No, tan leather shoes.
What about those like light brown leather lace up?
But why is that? Because actually, I don't know. And obviously Birkenstocks.
Any kind of Birkenstock?
No, the ones where your toes are revealed.
Yeah, because the covered ones are quite
The
trendy,
slippers.
aren't they?
Yeah. It's the first thing I noticed about Rory. He doesn't own a pair of flip-flops, anything like that. It's like, thank God.
Yeah, that's good.
That
is good.
Don't know why. Okay, the worst would be, the one that really, I don't know what's going on at the moment. I've noticed a lot of men wearing leggings.
Really?
Without shorts.
Where?
Everywhere. Just leggings.
Leggings? What, like cycling?
No, full length leggings, but without like shorts on top.
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
Just walking around?
Yeah, you'll see it.
That is bad.
Anyway.
Any kind of too short, I think, is an issue as well.
Oh no, that's the other one. These shorts these are on men, these slits up the side. I've seen it. I've honestly, the last few days, I keep thinking, sorry.
And Paul Mescal really fucked that for everyone, didn't he? Because now all blokes think it's cool to wear like really short shorts all the time.
Getting their legs out.
Yeah.
What would put you, what for you would put you off a girl? I mean, of like appearance wise, like what
This feels like
what could she wear?
a minefield. What could she wear?
Yeah. Or like, you know how some guys go, I hate girls with really long nails.
Yeah. Men with really long nails is worse.
That. Okay, I'll be honest. I went to the
That's serial
cinema
killer
and I
territory.
watched that, The Complete Unknown. Is it The Complete Unknown?
Bob Dylan.
That Bob Dylan. It was amazing.
Did you notice his nails?
His nails were really long and dirty.
I
And
noticed that as well.
And I was like, I don't know why, but it put me off a bit.
I noticed that. That must have been a deliberate decision.
It has to have been. Yeah, for the guitar. Because it must have been one of
But they don't have to be dirty though, do they?
No, but that's a real no-go zone, is dirty long nails.
I used to have guitar lessons when I was at school from this guy, and he had like it still scares me to this day. He had like his 4 normal fingers were cut normally, but his thumbs were really long because he used to play the guitar with his thumb, and it was the fucking most terrifying thing.
There is something off
like,
about it.
Just the thumb was really long. I was like, I do not want to be left alone with this man in a room.
No.
It's just, why is it scary? It's
Long nails
scary.
on a bloke. I don't know.
Because I think it's like a sign that you just don't look after yourself. If your nails are long, then what the fuck's going on everywhere else? I don't know. I've never been on one of those speed dating things.
Well,
You know what I used to try and do on the first date was like avoid boring questions. I would try to avoid questions like, what do you do for a living and where do you live? And I would try to avoid those topics.
Annoyingly, they're the topics you'd actually like to know the answer to.
Because you can find that out later. But like, I mean, like when you first meet and you're having your first interaction, I think trying to avoid those topics is quite good advice.
I went on a date not too long ago. Well, obviously a while ago. I would remember when I went on that date, and it was a random bloke that I'd met. He came up to me, and I realised we obviously had no mutual friends. But you know, when you date, when you do have mutual friends, that gives you a whole lot of stuff to talk about. But when you don't have that, it's suddenly a lot more pressure on actually trying to represent who you are. Because you're like, oh God.
Yeah, that is true. You would just chat about someone that you both know, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But do you not think you just like, I don't know, you know pretty quickly when you meet someone whether you have chemistry with them or not?
Well, yeah, this is the other thing. So
you know, like very quickly.
Did we not get this as a dilemma when you go on a date? I'm very much, if you go on a date and it's great, you're both well aware that it's great.
Yeah.
But some people are like, oh no, why don't you try again to see if it's suddenly there? I don't think
what's the point?
that suddenly happens.
Yeah,
but
what's
some
the point?
people, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's a pretty obvious, immediate.
Yeah, I would say that. It's like if you're not physically attracted to someone, I know people say over time that grows, but I personally would have to have the initial
definitely
attraction.
Maybe there are couples though who like they sort of get on really well and then they just grow to be attracted to each other. If you have any funny stories about speed dating or awkward first dates, or
what would be your biggest turn off on a first date?
Yeah, that's good. I like that sort of chat. Or if you've overheard someone on a bad first date. I had that the other day. I was sat in a restaurant and the table next to me was clearly a first date. And I just loved it. I just was like, this is amazing.
But you're the people who make it awkward because you can tell.
It was really weird what the guy was, I don't know if I've told you this, he was like, had his phone out and he was just showing the girl photos of where he used to live. He was like, this was my kitchen and I had this massive balcony. Just showing it, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? She doesn't give a fuck where you used to live.
Yeah, we spoke about this because we said about how guys love getting their camera rolls out.
Yeah, I was like, put your phone down. If you're on a date and you're showing each other photos on your phone, that's not a great sign. Listen, thanks for listening to the Valentine's Day special. Liv, I'm sorry that you're going to be on your own tonight.
I hope your performance tonight goes well.
I'll get booed off. And it's all going to be fine, I think.
Anyway, anyone who is celebrating Valentine's Day, I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, if you've bought heart-shaped jewellery for your girlfriend,
return that.
Bin it now before she gets it. Don't make homemade cards for each other. And if you are going to dress as a policewoman,
don't fire a real gun.
Don't fire a real gun. It's all good advice.
Yep.
We will see you next week. As always, contact@privatepartspodcast.com is the email, @privatepodcast on all the social media channels. And Liv, any final thoughts about Valentine's Day? Be safe.
Be safe and don't go kiss a load of blokes. Or do.
If that's what you want to do. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.